We're in California driving the CX-90 high output inline 6 turbo. Ooh, it's got a good sound, plenty of power.
Yeah, it does sound good. This is the turbocharged inline 6 CX-90, the brand new platform from Mazda. What's under the hood of this thing? Well, I kind of told you.
Kinda. A 3.3 liter inline 6 turbo with a mild hybrid system and an 8-speed automatic transmission. There are two variations. This high output powertrain is 340 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque on premium fuel, but you can put regular fuel in this model. The standard model has got 280 horsepower and 332 pound-feet of torque on regular fuel. Standard rear biased all-wheel drive.
As Kramer would say, giddy up. It's fun, this one. All right, so we are driving in a brand new product, rear wheel bias inline 6. What do you get with the CX-90?
The base trim comes with a 7-inch driver display, a 10.25-inch center display with Mazda Connect, wired Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, manual front seats, heated front seats, black cloth upholstery, an 8-speaker audio system, 8-passenger seating, keyless entry, iActive Sense safety features including blind spot monitoring and rear cross-traffic alert. In the US, 7 or 8 passenger seating is available on the base model. Other standard features include a power driver's seat and leatherette upholstery. Heated front seats are not standard on the base model in the US.
So there's the MI drive. Andrew's already got it in sport, of course. What else can we put it in?
You gotta put it in S for subscribe, and if you can hit that notification bell, you'll be notified when all our reviews drop and then you can watch them.
And we do this, the couple car review twice a week. The first one drops on Wednesday.
We put another one out on Saturday.
So make sure you like and subscribe, but also follow along on Instagram. It's Motormouth_Andrew to see what's going on behind the scenes. For me, it's Motormouth_Auto, and the links are below the like button. Okay, let's do a little math here. You've got a front engine, rear bias, all-wheel drive, inline 6 turbo with an 8-speed automatic transmission. It's kind of sounding a lot like a BMW, but it's not. It's their own take on it, but it's really quite good.
It's excellent, but surprisingly, it's not exactly what I was expecting. I was expecting the suspension to be firmer, like every other Mazda out there, and the steering to be a little bit heavier. This is a real balance, and I think it's going to appeal to a lot of people.
Let's be honest, Andrea, it's a bit of a mummy-mobile.
Is it?
Yeah, sure it is, and a daddy-mobile, but it's got to do family duties, getting kids in and out of all 3 rows, taking them to all their activities. You drop the kids off at school, you put it in subscribe,
and
you have some fun.
Have a lot of fun.
Listen
to this.
You know, I think it's just so cool that this brand from Japan has decided to just basically get a whole clean sheet and come to market with something that's not like anybody else is doing.
The transmission is really quite smooth. The shifts are sharp, and this does not have a torque converter. Instead, it has a wet clutch. And so some might think, well, is this a dual clutch transmission? No, but when you drive a dual clutch transmission, it can be a little bit jerky.
Herky-jerky, yeah.
More like a manual transmission, and it takes some time getting used to it. This is not like that.
All right, so that's the mechanical stuff, and there's also a plug-in hybrid that has a 4-cylinder and a plug-in system. There is a whole separate video. We have gone to town already and recorded and edited. It's ready. It's right here. So click on the card at any time and watch that. The whole thing all the way through and like it.
I really think that the front of this looks great. I like the exterior with the inline 6 badging on it. This has got 8.1 inches of ground clearance. It comes standard with LED headlights, LED rear combination lights. You can get 18-inch wheels, 19-inch, and available 21-inch, which we're riding on because we've got the top trim. This is a great color. Right now it's exclusive to the CX-90. It was actually made for this vehicle. It's called Artisan Red, and it looks like a deep red, especially in the shade, and Mazda knows how to do red.
And it's the inside really that showcases what this brand is trying to do. So you've got to remember, most other, especially Japanese nameplates, have a luxury division. Mazda does not.
No.
So they try to straddle everything. They have their mainline entry-level price point, and then when you get into this signature trim, well, now you're bumping into premium or luxury territory with beautiful cloth on the dash with what they call a hanging stitch. A really nice looking blonde wood stitching, chrome and aluminum, no piano black anywhere, and switches galore.
And our top trim has got the dual 12.3-inch screen, so you've got a display screen with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which you can also use as a touch screen. And then Mazda's got the 12.3-inch digital driver display, which I quite like. Put it in sport mode, everything lights up red. One of the biggest questions that we get asked about Mazda models is the comfort level of the seats, and most of the time in their models, except for the CX-90, I find the seats to be quite comfortable, are firm. This is not as firm as the CX-5 or CX-50, so I think a lot of you will be much happier with the comfort level in here.
Okay, there's a big plus and a kind of a negative. The big plus is the control wheel for the infotainment screen is still here. Very easy to use. They've had it for years. I like that. The shifter is kind of weird. You have to toggle it to one side and then move it back and forth for reverse and drive, but then you have to push it into reverse before you go into park. It just is the answer to the question nobody was asking, but that's what they've decided to do.
I gotta say, I like it. It gives this whole thing a real sporty vibe. I'm not bothered by the shifter at all.
With so many brands pushing everything into a touchscreen, they have still got real hard keys for the HVAC controls and all of the heated and ventilated seat functions. It's all right there. So you can access this like, just think about it with gloves on. In the winter, you can do it all. Thank you, Mazda.
Plenty of storage at the center console and in the door pockets. And you know what? There's no piano black in here, and only hard plastic at the bottom of the center console and of course on the door pockets. And you might be wondering, how much bigger is this than the CX-9? Well, it's got more shoulder room and hip room. It is wider and it's longer. It offers just over half an inch more front row legroom. Second row legroom is the same, and third row legroom just over half an inch more as well. Same with cargo capacity, not that much bigger, but you will feel that it is much more spacious because of the width.
So this is a new halo product for this brand. They have a lot of trims in the US, less in Canada. What's the breakdown?
So I would say one up from the base model. Let's start with Canada first. That's a great trim to go with. It's going to come with so many more features, like power front seats, the leatherette upholstery, which is nice to have, heated steering wheel, power lift gate, the one-touch switch for the power-operated third row. On this trim, you have 7 or 8 passenger seating configuration. Now, I would actually add the enhanced package for over $2,000, and that's going to get you the heated second row captain's chairs, panoramic sunroof, wireless phone charger, and the hands-free power liftgate. It also gets you the MI Drive technology. The GT model adds the 12-speaker Bose sound system, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, navigation, and then that's where you get the 21-inch wheels as well. This high output performance model, which is also called the GT, but you add a P, and it adds driver's seat memory, ventilated front seats, and this Napa leather upholstery, and you also get the optional white Napa leather. The signature model is a 6-passenger vehicle. The second row center console cannot be removed, so you can't walk through to the third row, and the third row is only a 2-seater.
In the United States, also a good idea to go one up from the base model. That's where you get the moonroof, the power passenger seat, and the heated front seats. If you go 2 up from the base, the Preferred Plus, it adds wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, plus a wireless charger. The premium trim gets the panoramic sunroof, hands-free power liftgate, and the 12-speaker Bose sound system, plus the good-looking 21-inch wheels. If you move up to the Turbo S premium model, it's only 6 passengers, but you get some extra features like a heated steering wheel. It's the top Premium Plus trim that gets more power and all the features. The top 3 models have the designation S in the United States, and that means you get the high output engine. But the top two trims, which are called S Premium and S Premium Plus, are only sold in 6-seater configurations. So here's me getting into the second row. As Andrea already mentioned, the second row seats about the same size as the CX-9. There's plenty of headroom and legroom, and of course the seats slide fore and aft so you can get into the third row. You pull the seat back forward, and that's how you climb into the third row. I would say the third row is quite adequate. Your bum sits lower than your knees, and the rake of the rear seat makes it quite comfortable.
Comparing the CX-90 to the Kia Telluride, Toyota Highlander, and the Honda Pilot, the CX-90 offers some good front row legroom at 41.7 inches. The Telluride has the most at 44 inches. Second row legroom falls short amongst these competitors at 39.4 inches. The Kia has the most at 42.4 inches. Third row legroom at 30.4 inches is smaller than all but the Highlander.
And then you lift the power tailgate. And like most 3-row SUVs, the space when all the seats is up is not that great. The good news is that both this and the plug-in hybrid model come with a real spare tire.
Cargo space behind the third row comes in at 14.9 cubic feet. The Telluride has the most at 21 cubic feet. Overall cargo space for the CX-90 is 74.2 cubic feet, which is the smallest amongst these competitors.
We're throwing a curveball. Questions, coffee, and Diet Coke.
We don't have coffee, sorry.
Gotta have our caffeine somewhere.
Yeah.
Time now for questions, coffee, and cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
The two variations of the gas engines, is that due to the type of gas you put in the tank? No, they are tuned differently. The standard engine and the high output are tuned differently. However, the standard engine takes regular fuel.
So there's nothing mechanically different, right? So they've got the same basic engine, 3.3 liter, turbocharged. So it's all programming of the DME, and that's how they do it.
And you can put regular fuel in the high output engine. However, you're not going to get the same horsepower. You will get the same torque though, 369 pound-feet of torque, which is great. And honestly, I might do regular fuel if I can still get that same torque.
All about torque.
Yeah. I'm so sick of vehicles that have captain's chairs and no option for a bench seat.
Mm-hmm.
Does the fully loaded straight six version have a bench seat or only captain's chairs?
Well, you have hit on a great, this could be our hot topic, but it's not.
No.
You're absolutely right. Why does this brand and almost every single other brand force you, when you get the top trim, to get rid of seats? In this case, you get rid of 2 seats. It goes from a 8 to a 7 to a 6 passenger.
Yeah. And you can't even remove that center console in the second row on this top model.
Why don't they just make it an option?
I know.
Just pick one you want.
Now, I did talk to Mazda about that because I was thinking to myself, why did you make this decision? They said that people who are buying this top trim with all of the bells and whistles don't typically need all of that space for an 8-passenger or 7-passenger.
Well,
you tell us.
Well, they said it's because of a stage of life, right? For most people that are going to afford the top banana, they got some more money and they're older. Their kids are grown. I don't know. I just disagree. I think it should just be, you can order it with 2 seats in the second or 3 seats.
We put out a lot of content each week on the Motormouth YouTube channel, and it's super easy to find.
All you do is go to the YouTube search bar and type in Motormouth, the name of this fabulous channel, then the brand you're looking for. In this case, it's Mazda or Mazda. It's spelt the same, and all our videos will pop up. It's that easy.
How's the clarity of the screen and backup cameras? I test drove a Mazda a few years ago, and the quality of the cameras were way blurrier than other companies.
It was your glasses.
They were fogged up. No, we're just kidding.
You're right, though. They had, I think the worst culprit for really crappy backup cameras for about 10 years was Nissan. They fixed that, and they fixed it here too, right?
Yeah, this is actually really good. Very crisp and clear. I think that you will see that there's a massive improvement for sure.
And now it's time for our hot topic. What's this one, Andrea?
Now that you've driven the CX-90, with all things considered, is it truly a rival for the premium brands such as Audi, BMW, Lexus, Acura?
Well, that's what Mazda wants you to think, is that they have a rival to those premium brands.
Yeah.
And on this top signature trim, the interior I think is definitely befitting a luxury or premium brand.
Yep.
But it's just their take on it. I don't think it really is, it's not the same as driving an X5.
Definitely not.
But for something like an Infiniti or an Acura, I'd say yeah.
Yeah, I would say so too. One thing I find about the MDX is the steering is really light on it, and it doesn't have a firm suspension, but it's a beautiful vehicle to drive. This is different. I think that this could have a sportier feel to it. I mean, not comparing it necessarily to the Type S, but I think to the regular MDX for sure. And then I think, you know, Lexus. Lexus is really refined. I wouldn't really call Lexus models sporty. I think that new RX 500H is the sportiest.
Yeah, but that's only a 5-passenger vehicle.
That's
right?
it. So
they're
you can't compare.
Yeah, they're going to come out with basically a Lexified version of their Grand Highlander, but I don't think it's going to drive like this. So this is, you know what, it is exactly what they describe it as.
Yeah.
They call it Mazda Premium.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it is. You're getting a premium version of a Mazda product. But for some people, they'll just see inline 6, 8-speed automatic, rear bias all-wheel drive, and they'll say, take my money.
Yeah, I want it. And here's the thing. You actually get to drive a 3-row family SUV that is fun to drive, easy to maneuver. It's got great turning radius. I think that Mazda has really nailed it with this inline 6.
So can this thing tow? What's the fuel economy and more in our vital stats?
Let's start with pricing. In Canada, the base model starts at just under $46,000, and the top signature trim that we're test driving is just over $63,000 Canadian. In the US, the base trim starts at just over $39,500, and the top SS Premium Plus is just under $60,000 US.
Here's the fuel economy for the standard inline 6-cylinder. It's 9.9 liters per 100 kilometers in the city, 8.4 on the highway. That's 24 miles per gallon city, 28 miles per gallon highway. If you get the high output engine, the fuel economy is 10.3 liters per 100 kilometers city, 8.5 on the highway. That's 23 miles per gallon city, 28 miles per gallon highway. The CX-90 can tow up to 5,000 pounds. The warranty is 3 years with unlimited kilometers in Canada, or 3 years and 36,000 miles in the United States. So the intermediate 3-row SUV category is expected to grow over the next few years. What can you buy right now?
For your consideration, 4 vehicles for you to consider.
Up first is the Kia Telluride with a 3.8-liter V6 engine, 291 horsepower, and a starting price just over $50,500.
The Toyota Highlander with a 2.4-liter turbo 4-cylinder, 264 horsepower, and a starting price just over $45,500.
The Volkswagen Atlas with a new 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder coming for 2024. It is 269 horsepower. The pricing has not been announced yet.
The new Honda Pilot with a 3.5-liter V6, 285 horsepower, and a starting price just under $53,000.
So there are 4 3-row non-luxury SUVs for you to consider.
Lightning round, 2 things we like, 2 things we like to see improved.
Well, I really like the way that this handles, especially in sport mode.
I just applaud them for actually making this vehicle.
What I don't like is the top trim only having a 6-passenger configuration. I'd like to see at least 7 on this.
And wireless Apple and Android is only on the top trims. That's got to change.
Well, that's our first drive of the CX-90 Inline 6 Turbo.
We also have a totally separate, a whole new video on the plug-in hybrid model. So click on that card at any time. It's very good.